We begin our 6 o'clock hour with Decision 2022, with today being the deadline for counties across Arizona to certify the results of the election. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 6. I'm Kariba Devine.
And I'm Rachel Cole. And tonight for Mark Curtis, every county in the state was required to certify those results today or face a lawsuit from the state. So for years, the certification process has really been more of a formality, but not the case today.
Team 12's Michael Doudna has been following the latest developments throughout the day and joins us live. And Michael, what exactly happened today?
Yeah, guys, it was a 4-hour meeting that ended with a unanimous vote, but not before we saw a protest from people who came from all over the state and the country to try and stop the certification.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion passes.
The vote happened in a matter of seconds, but only after hours of arguments and insults.
Lies! 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 Lies!
For multiple hours, most of the public comment went after the board. The goal: stop the certification of an election.
I came here today to get an up-close and personal look at the 7 traitors to the United States Constitution.
Watching you pledge allegiance to my flag was disgusting.
Now, the claims made today were not new. That the issues with printers on Election Day led to long lines and disenfranchised voters, mixed with the occasional conspiracy theory.
The election was a sham. We would like to have a re-election.
However, after the public comment, most of the people who showed up to speak left, refusing to stay and hear the county as the election directors gave answers to some of their claims and concerns.
Everything is logged, it's preserved.
Now, printer issues did impact some voter centers, but they were fixed on Election Day. And every voter had the option to leave their ballot in a box to be counted later.
Every voter had that opportunity to be able to put their ballot in that ballot box.
Of the more than 16,000 people who chose that option, all their votes were counted. And while some centers did have long lines, most didn't. And there was always a vote center nearby with a shorter wait time that voters could use.
We had 188 locations during that 5 p.m. hour that were 30 minutes or less.
In the end, after weeks of controversy and hours of debate, the board stood by each other and the results of the election.
But these are good men who are in public service for the right reasons, and I am proud to serve with every single one of them. Again, this was not a perfect election, but it was safe and secure. The votes have been counted accurately.
So guys, what's next for Maricopa County? Well, we know that there's going to be at least some lawsuits that have to be worked out. We know of one filed by the Lake campaign and the Hamaday campaign that will end up having their day in court. Plus, at some point in time later next month, we will have a recount of some of the state's closer elections. We're live in Phoenix. Michael Doudna, 12 News.
All right, Michael, thank you. And Team 12 political insider Bram Resnick is joining us here in the studio to break all of this down for us and what is next in this whole process.
What's next? More, much more. Today was the legal deadline for Arizona's 15 counties to certify their votes. We had one hiccup there. We'll get to that a little later. The date to circle on the calendar right now is next Monday, when the final statewide certification is done. As Secretary of State, Democrat Katie Hobbs will formally certify all the midterm elections, including her own victory in the race for governor. Now, some have raised questions about Hobbs' role. I have to tell you, there is nothing unusual about a Secretary of State certifying an election she ran in. Also joining Hobbs as witnesses will be Republican Governor Doug Ducey and Republican Attorney General Mark Brnovich. Both are leaving office after serving the maximum 2 terms. Now, that certification will clear the way for automatic recounts of 3 elections. That's thanks to a new state law this year that will make recounts more common. The major races affected are for Attorney General, where Democrat Chris Maids leads Republican Abe Hamadeh by just 510 votes, less than 0.1%. It's one of the closest statewide races in Arizona history. Also going to a recount, the school superintendent race between Republican Tom Horn and incumbent Kathy Hoffman. Horn leads by almost 9,000 votes, and Hoffman has conceded. The recounts must be ordered by a judge, and the count could go well into December. And coming up in the next half hour, I'll have more on the lawsuits that could fill up the election calendar going well into December and possibly into the new year. Dare I say that?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of paperwork already being filed for those, so I'm sure it'll be an ongoing battle there.
Sure will.
Lots of election attorneys making a lot of money right now.
Yes, and building new dream homes.
Yes. All right, Bram, thank you.